Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel, and today in this video, or maybe should I say in this short course, I'm gonna show you how to use a Flatsome theme. Basically in this video I'm gonna show you how you can easily create your e-commerce store using this popular e-commerce theme, and you're gonna see it yourself how you can easily build your website. So basically it's gonna be step-by-step guide showing you all the different sections of customizing this theme, and I believe you should learn everything you need in order to create your e-commerce website. All right, let's jump into it. Okay, so in this lesson, we're gonna start customizing our website using a premium theme, a premium option, and you will see it yourself how different it is and how many customization options it has compared to Astra theme. I'm not gonna reinstall the WordPress or anything like that. I'm just gonna download the theme. I'm gonna replace my current Astra theme with the new Flatsome theme. I'm gonna deactivate some of the plugins, and you will see it yourself how that works. Just in case maybe in the future you will decide that you want to switch themes, it's gonna be a good practice for you. But like I said, in this lesson I will show you how to install a theme when you already have a theme installed. But if you don't have installed Astra theme to your website and you decided that you want to go with this option Flatsome, everything's gonna be easier for you. So you will see it yourself how that works, and I will make sure that everything looks the same even though you haven't installed Astra theme to your website. Alright, so the first things first, you want to go to this website right here, themeforest.net, and look for a theme called Flatsome. So this is the theme that we want to use, and as you can see, this is #1 best-selling WooCommerce theme. It's mobile and speed optimized, so I do really like this theme. I use it for free off my websites, and I highly recommend you this theme. Alright, so just purchase this theme, and once you have purchased this theme, you want to go right here to your profile, select downloads. And as you can see, I have quite a lot of things. Alright, so this is one of the license I could use, but I have the other license that I have deactivated and I can activate on this current website. Alright, so this is the theme. In your case, you're just gonna see this only one option right here. So you want to click right here and let's select installable WordPress file only. So you want to download only installable WordPress file, and you want to download license, certificate, and purchase code. So this is the code of your theme that you're gonna use to activate your theme. So right here in item purchase code, you will see the code that you will need to use to activate your theme. So remember that. And of course, before we go back, if you want, you can actually check how this theme looks. You can check some of the demo websites. If I would click right here, as you remember, you could check how this website looks. So we have various demo websites you can check out and see what are possibilities of this theme. So it's up to you if you want to do that, but I just wanted to show you that such option exists. All right, let's close this tab right here. Let's go back to our website and let's go to the dashboard. Now we're gonna need to install this theme. So like I said, no matter if you followed my previous section where I showed you how to use Astra theme or not, the whole steps are gonna be the same. So just go to your dashboard. Let's go to appearance tab. Let's select themes, and now let's click add new, and let's click upload theme. Let's choose browse and just select the file you just downloaded. So this is the file. Let's click open and let's select install now. All right, now we can activate this theme. Just click right here, and here we have a setup wizard. All right, so let's click let's go. Now we will have to enter our purchase code here. So let's go to our PDF file we just downloaded, and you want to copy this one, item purchase code that is here. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna copy this code. I will go back, and before I paste this code, I can close this tab, and I can actually close this tab as well. Alright, so I'm just gonna paste this code here. I'm gonna select confirm, and I'm gonna click register. Alright, so the registration was successful. Now we can click continue. Let's create a child theme. All right, let's click continue. Here you can install some plugins, but actually you don't need to install this first plugin, Contact Form 7, because we are using another plugin for adding contact forms. And right here, Next and Social Login, I'm not using this plugin at all because I usually like to keep everything simple, like I said, and just a regular login with email address and password works just well. And if you want, you can actually install Wishlist. So your customers, your potential customers will be able to create their wish lists. So it's quite good, especially if you have more products. But if you're planning to create this website in other language, not in English, then you will have some problems with this plugin because it's gonna be quite difficult to translate some of the English words. And if you are creating your website for a native speaking audience, then your website might look quite messy. But if you would like to have this wish list and you are creating a website for English speaking audience, then you can click right here and just install this plugin. It's completely up to you. And once you have this plugin, you don't really need to change anything. And no matter what way we go, if I'm gonna choose to install this plugin or not, we're not gonna do any changes to it. So just to be safe, because in later sections I'm gonna show how to translate your website, I'm not gonna install this plugin, but if you want, you can install it and have wishlist. All right, so we can click skip the step. Alright, so here we do not want to install any demo content. In the previous section, when we worked with Astro theme, it was quite convenient because we were just starting out. We didn't have any experience working with themes and the various plugins. But now, after you have watched this previous section, I believe you have enough understanding, and this time it's going to be much easier to set up your website without installing any demo content. It's going to be much easier for us. So let's not install any demo content. Let's click skip this step, and if you want, you can select any preset. It's just gonna create you a header. It's just gonna add the style to your theme. But actually you don't need to do that because, like I said, in this section I'm gonna show you how to customize, how to give your website a good look without needing to install any demo content. So we're gonna start from the bottom up, and we're not gonna need to use any demo content. We can also skip this step. And here you will get some customer support if you're gonna need any of this support, but I believe you ain't gonna need any support from the theme developers, because once I show you how to create your website using this theme, I believe you will not have any issues. All right, let's click agree and continue. All right, so now we are done and we can click view your new website. Alright, so in my case, as you can see, what I still have. So I still have this menu right here, the main menu that I created previously. And in later lesson, I will show you how to create a menu one more time, just in case you didn't watch the previous section where I showed you how to create a menu using Astro theme. It's basically gonna be the same, but we're gonna go back and gonna work on that a bit just to show you how it works. As well, as you can see, we have our homepage. So this homepage was created using Elementor. It's from the previous section where I was working on Astro theme. So we're not gonna use this homepage at all. And as you can see right now, we have different sale buttons, different style, and you can customize those sale bubbles, not buttons. And it's extremely customizable. This theme is customizable, so that's the huge advantage of this theme compared to Astro theme. And let's scroll down. What else we have? So we have our footer, and right now it doesn't look good at all, and no worries about that. And it even doesn't matter if your footer looks different, because in later stages when we're gonna edit our footer, I will show you how to create it. And no matter what type of footer you have right now, you will still be able to follow this lesson. Alright, so right now we should do some changes. We should go to our dashboard, and I just want to make sure before we move on to the next lessons that I have disabled the plugins that I'm not going to use. So in this case, let's go to install plugins, and the first plugin that I'm going to disable is going to be Elementor. We are not going to use Elementor at all. We can click skip and deactivate, because this Flatsome theme has its own page builder and it's quite good. It's quite flexible as well, so we're gonna work with that. As well, we can disable starter templates plugin because we're not gonna use it as well. All right, so now we can select those two plugins here, and let's click delete. Let's select apply. Okay. All right, so now those plugins are gone, and I really like that we do not overcrowd our website with too many plugins, because if you're gonna have too many plugins on your website, there is a chance that there's gonna be some issue. I'm not saying that it's gonna happen, but there are some cases that some plugins can slower your website. And if you are using not too many plugins, especially if you are using, let's say, the same type of plugins for the same purpose, like two plugins for creating pages, then I highly recommend you to not do that, because it's just not how things work and it might slow down your website. But right now we have 8 plugins and that's just perfect. All right, let's go to our site and let's see how it looks now. Alright, as you can see, we don't have our homepage. It's completely gone. We still have best-selling products, we still have trending products, but we're gonna replace this homepage with a newly created homepage. So like I said, no matter what you see here, maybe you see a different information, maybe you have different menu here, maybe your homepage is completely empty, it doesn't really matter because you will still be able to follow this section through. Alright, so this is it for this lesson. Now you know how to install a premium theme, and as you saw it yourself, you have to download it from themeforest.net and you have to upload it to your website, and of course you have to activate it. And if you would try to use search in WordPress themes in your dashboard, you wouldn't find this theme. Alright, so that's all for this lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna check UX Builder. So just like in the previous section when we were working with Astra theme, we were working with Elementor Page Builder. And right here we have a page builder as well, but this builder comes together with the Flatsome theme. It's their own builder, and it might not have so many options as Elementor, but it's still flexible. And in this lesson, we're gonna explore this page builder. Alright, so let's go to the dashboard. Let's go to all pages. And in this lesson, we're not gonna do any changes. We're just gonna go through the page builder itself to show you how it looks. And as you can see, previously we had an option to edit pages with Elementor, but now we have an option to edit page with UX Builder. And if I would click on this about page, as you can see here, we have option to edit this page with UX Builder. So instead of using this WordPress text editor right here that we have here, we can use UX Builder just like we could use in the previous section Elementor. So let's select UX Builder, and just keep in mind we're not gonna change anything here. I just want to walk you through the UX Builder itself to show you how it works. And we can keep the text, we can keep the information here, and we're not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna walk you through this builder. Alright, so this is how it looks. On the left side we have our navigator. So this is our navigator. We have sections, we have elements here. And on the right side, we have different modes. So we can view our website on tablet mode, on mobile mode. And when we are doing changes, we can do changes to separate device. Not just do changes to all devices globally, but to separate devices. So for example, I could do some changes to desktop device. I can move around elements. Then I can switch to tablet mode. If I don't like how the layout looks, I can do some changes to the tablet mode layout, and I can do the same with mobile. Alright, let's go back to desktop view. If I would go right here, I can do changes to the page itself, but you usually don't need to do any changes here. Actually, to be honest, I have never done any changes right here because everything is good as it is by default. Alright, let's go back. And as you can see right here, we have text elements. So in Elementor, you usually have sections, and then once you create a section, to this section you add elements. But it doesn't apply to UX Builder. You can just add elements without creating sections. It's simple as that. Alright, if I would click right here, I could add another element. So as you can see here, we have layout elements, so we can add row here. So if I would click this one, we would add some rows, and in those rows we could add elements like images, buttons, text, images. Let's say here you could showcase your categories or something like that. You can also choose how many columns you want to have, what layout itself you want to have, but we can close this one. And as you can see, this element was added successfully. And now when I'm doing changes to the row, I'm doing to this whole part right here to the row changes. So I can work on some layout adjustments, style adjustments, and it's for you to explore everything yourself, to try out different changes, just to check how it works, how everything functions. And in later stages, when we're gonna work on our homepage, when we're gonna work on contact us page, and when we're gonna work on about page, we're gonna take everything into practice, and we're gonna take care of the layout of the home page, of the about page, of the contact page with all those adjustments. But for now, you can explore everything yourself. You don't need to save anything. Just try to add different elements, see what settings they have, and try to figure out how everything functions and works. All right, let's go back. And as you can see, now I'm in my navigator. So here we have text element. and here we have row. So this row has 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So in those columns you can add images. So let's say here you can add an image, a button. So if I would click add elements right here, as you can see, I can choose from the same list of elements, and here all elements are free. So unlike with Elementor where you had to purchase a pro version to get access to some better elements, here all elements are free to use, and it's up to you to explore all those elements. All right, so let's close this one. And as you can see, this is the row with various elements, and I can delete this row. If I'm gonna click here, I can do options, I can duplicate it, copy options, copy a shortcode, and do all other adjustments. But I usually don't focus here too much, and I get good results without focusing on those other options. So I'm just gonna delete this one, and let's click right here, add element one more time. So like I said, here we have layout elements. Here we have various content elements. We have buttons, text, HTML codes, banners, accordions. So if I'm gonna choose accordion, as you can see here, you can expand this accordion. You can add a heading right here, and you can add text. All right, so for example, how much the shipping cost right here, and once you expand, you can explain how much the shipping costs. There are many ways of using this accordion, so it's up to you how you want to use it. But let's go back, and as you can see, this is the navigator, this is how it looks. And if you would click right here, you can add another accordion, and just like that you can do changes to this accordion. All right, we can delete this one. And the last thing that I wanted to show you, let's go to add elements, is gonna be not here, but just let's scroll down through all elements. And as you can see here, we have various shop elements. We can add products, custom products, and best-selling products. So for example, if I'm gonna click this one, we're gonna have best-selling products. We can do adjustments to columns, to the number of products we are displaying. And once again, this one is up to you to explore. And okay, we can delete this one, and we can go to add elements. And here in import, we're not gonna use that. Let's not overcomplicate ourselves with too many adjustments. So let's go back to elements. And if I would go to Flatsome Studio, as you can see here, we have various pre-created layouts. So if you watched my previous section where I showed you how to create a website using Astra theme and starter templates, you saw it yourself that from the starter templates, you can import pages, you can import the whole website itself, or you can import blogs. So the same goes with this theme. You can import various e-commerce pages, you can import about sections, and you can import various other things. So it's up to you to explore what you would like to use. In later lessons, we're gonna use some of them, but once again, it's up to you to explore everything, and no worries about anything. If you're gonna import something and you're gonna delete something, or you're gonna save anything, you won't mess up your website in any way. And if you're gonna have any questions or any struggles, just join my Facebook group, and I'm always here to help you. So if you're gonna have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and just shoot me a message, and I'm gonna help you right away. So as you can see right here, we have various pre-designed layouts, and it's up to you what layouts you want to use. And like I mentioned you before, in later lessons we're gonna use some of these templates. But yeah, once again, you can click import. So for example, if I'm gonna select import, I can choose if I want to import with images, but why do I need those images unless I want to see how it's gonna look? So I'm gonna import this one without images, and I'm gonna click start. And as you can see, it just imported this pre-created layout. So as you can see, it has sections. So just like with Elementor, this template was created using sections, and then to those sections we have some elements. So we have row, in this row we have columns, and right here, if I would expand, as you can see, we have text and all other things. If I'm gonna minimize this one, it just goes like that. If I'm gonna click right here, delete, as you can see, this section disappeared. And this is the second section. The reason why it's on top of the text, it's because of layout adjustments. And later, once we're gonna work on those settings, I'm gonna show you where you can take care of those adjustments if you want to go over top of some other elements. But let's click right here real quick in options. And if I would scroll down just a second, no, it's not this one. So it's just done to separate column right here. So if I'm gonna click on the row, just a second, on the columns, just a second, yeah, on the row, on this one, if I'm gonna go to options, it should have some adjustments. All right, it doesn't have, but I should go right here, and if I'm gonna go to the column itself, yeah, as you can see, we have padding adjustments, and that's why it looks this way. So explore everything yourself, try to decide what will work for you, what maybe you would like to use yourself, and it's gonna be up to you if you want to go my way or if you want to try something different. But if you're gonna have any questions, do not hesitate to send me a message and I'm gonna help you out. All right, so hopefully now you understand this UX builder a bit better. I know it was a quick walkthrough, but in later lessons, once you're gonna start working on the pages, you will see it yourself how it works. Once we are finished with the first section of a page, you're gonna have a good understanding how everything works. And if you watched my previous section where I showed you how to work with Elementor, trust me, this time it's gonna be much easier than working with Elementor. Alright, we can close this one right here. Let's not save any changes. Alright, let's go back to all our pages, and basically that's it for this lesson. Now you know how UX Builder works. It's a simple page builder. It's much easier to use than Elementor, but it is flexible as well. Alright, so that's all for this lesson. Okay, in this lesson, we're gonna create our homepage, and this time we're gonna use UX Builder to create our homepage. In the previous section, when we were working with Astra theme, I was using Elementor, and if we would go to our homepage, I'm just gonna open this one in a new tab just to see how it looks. As you can see, this is how it looks. It looks quite messy, and it's because it was created using Elementor, and now we are not using Elementor at all. So no matter what is your situation, maybe you have the same looking page, maybe you have a completely empty page, you will still be able to follow this lesson because we're gonna create a completely new page for our homepage. Alright, so I'm gonna close this one. And if you forgot, this is our layout. So this is the same layout I used to create a homepage when I was working with Astra theme and I was working with Elementor. So as you can see in the first section, we're gonna have our hero image with click to action button. And for this, we're gonna use banner. Right here we have products. So for this, we're gonna use products element. This section we're gonna import from Flatsome Studio, so we're gonna have a pre-created template, so it's gonna help us to work more efficiently. And right here we're gonna add categories, so for this we're gonna use category element, and the last element is gonna be products as well. Alright, so now we can go back to all of our pages. Let's click add new. Let's give a title to this page. Let's call it homepage, and let's click edit with UX Builder. Alright, so right now we have a completely empty page, and let's click add element. Let's choose banner. So before we do any changes, let's make sure that we have all the sections we need to make sure that this is the layout we have. So let's go back. Let's close this one here. And now let's go back one more time. And now we have to add a title. So let's click add elements. Let's choose, just a second, let's choose title. Just a second, where is that title? Yeah, this is the element we want to use. All right, let's use title, and let's center this title right here, and let's go back to our layout. So we're gonna have best selling products. So let's type right here, best selling products. All right, I think it looks good. We can change the size. Let's make it 120. I think it's gonna look much better. Alright, let's go back, and now we want to add a new element. So this element is going to be products. So let's use search to look for products. Alright, this is the element we want to use. Let's select this element and let's click apply. And now to display the best selling products, we have to scroll down. Just a second, let's scroll down, and now let's select order by sales. Decreasing, so from the best selling to the least selling product. So this is how it's gonna look. Once you're gonna start getting orders, this is how it's gonna be displayed. So from the best selling product to the least best selling product. All right, so let's keep it just like that. Let's click apply, and now we're gonna add another section. So let's go back to our structure, and now we need to add this section right here to showcase our advantages. So let's go back, let's click add elements. And now instead of using any of those elements right here, let's select Flatsome Studio. And don't be afraid to explore everything yourself. Maybe you will find some elements that you would like to use yourself to make your online store a bit more unique looking. So this one is up to you. You can explore everything yourself. But in this lesson, we're gonna use this one, services icons. And just a second, let's choose this one right here. Let's select import. Let's import images as well. Let's click start, and this is how it's gonna look. All right, so what's next? Let's go back, and now we're gonna showcase our categories. So before we add our categories, we need to add a title. So we can use this title right here. So we can duplicate this title just like that. And let's type categories. Let's click apply. And now we can move this element right here just down beneath this section here. And this is how it's gonna look. Now let's click add elements. And now let's search for categories. All right, so this is what we want to use. Let's click add. And yeah, this is how it's gonna look. I know we don't have any images right now, but later we're gonna fix that so we can keep it just like that. It's gonna look good. All right, let's click apply. And what's next? What's next? We have to add trending products. All right, so let's go back, and now let's duplicate this title one more time. Let's click duplicate, and we can add trending products. All right, let's click apply, and now let's move this title just down below our product categories element. All right, so now we have to add products element. So we can duplicate this previous element. Let's click duplicate, and now let's do some changes. All right, so instead of ordering by sales, we can select random. So it's gonna display random products. And again, it's up to you what type of filter you want to use. I usually like to go this way. Let's click apply, and now we have to move this product element just below this title right here. And this is how it looks. All right, so now we have everything in place, and we have to do changes to the first section. So this is our banner. So this is our hero image. All right, so let's click right here, options. So once I click on options, I'm doing changes to this whole section right here, to this banner itself. So now I want to choose a background image. So the background image is gonna be the same I used in the previous section when I was working with Elementor. So just a second, let's look for this image. Yeah, this is the image, and I'm gonna click use this image. And this is how it's gonna look. And now I want to make it full width. So to do that, we should do some changes to this whole page itself. But before we do that, let's make sure that we have the right size selected. I want to use this size, let's say, because I want to use a better quality of this image. All right, so this is how it's gonna look. And I can change the height. So I don't like that it has 500 pixels. Instead of that, I'm gonna use 600. All right, I think it's gonna look better. So now I want to make this full width. So I'm gonna click right here to do changes to this whole page itself. So I'm gonna choose template, and this is the template I want to choose. All right, so this is how it's gonna look. All right, so we are not done yet because it doesn't look too good right here. So let's do some changes to this text element. Let's move it to the right. And here, let's just a second, I'm gonna move it a bit up. And here I'm gonna change the text. So I'm gonna click right here, open text editor. And here I'm just gonna replace this text with my text. All right, so this is how it's gonna look. Now I'm gonna click OK, and I don't like the size of the text, so I can change that right here. So I'm gonna move this a bit to the right, just like that. I can expand this area right here a bit more. Okay, just a second. I can do some changes to this text a bit more, so I have to change the heading element right here. Let's choose number 4. All right, this way I feel like it's gonna look better. All right, so we can increase the font size, and I think it's gonna look good. Just a second, I'm gonna go back to text editor. Okay, I think it looks better. And now we can change the color. So if I would click right here, I can change the color of this text. I feel like this color will look great. So let's keep it just like that. And now I want to add a button right here. So to add a button, let's go here. We can click add to text box, and let's choose button. All right, so this is the button we're gonna use. You can use any other preset if you want. So I'm just gonna click apply. Alright, so now I need to add text. So I'm gonna add shop now. Alright, let's do some style adjustments. Let's choose the secondary color. At the moment, the secondary color is set to be this orange color, but later, once we're gonna work on the customization options of this theme, we're gonna do changes. We're gonna replace this orange color to red color, and the same color is displayed right here for sale bubble. So we're gonna work on that in a later lesson. Alright, what else we could do? We could add a URL to this button. So let's make this button active. So this time I want to include a URL that takes our visitors to our shop page where they can see all of our products. So if you remember, the shop page is /shop. So this is the page we want to use. So let's copy this page right here. Now we can close it and we can paste it right here. All right. We can also add an icon. So if I would add arrow right, this is how it's gonna look, and I can choose visible on hover. All right. So this is how it's gonna look. Okay, I could also do some other adjustments. I could expand this button as well, and I could change the size of this button. Let's make it large. All right, I feel like it looks good, and I can change the radius as well. So if I'm gonna move this one a bit to right, this is how it's gonna look, and I feel like it looks good. All right, so once again, everything is up to you. Those all changes, style adjustments are up to you. But if you're gonna follow my lesson, you're gonna have a solid foundation and you will understand how to create your homepage by following this lesson. All right, so let's make sure that everything looks good. So now we can change the text right here. So I'm offering free shipping for orders over $50, and we can keep free returns. Again, it's up to you. And customer support. So I'll offer customer support, 24/7 customer support. So I can add that right here. So I'm gonna click on this text here, and I'm gonna open this one in a text editor, and I'm just gonna replace information right here. All right, we can click OK, and this is how it's gonna look. Okay, we can go back. So we did changes to the text. All right, here we can also include free returns. So let's keep it just like that. I'm just gonna open this one in the text editor, and I'm gonna add the information right here. All right, let's click OK. So the next one is gonna be this one. So I'm gonna let know our visitors that I offer great customer support. So I'm gonna type 24/7 support. All right, we can click OK. And right now, this icon here doesn't make sense because we are offering support. So we can change that. So if you would click right here on this icon, you can replace this icon. So I'm gonna click right here, change media. And I already uploaded my icon. So this is the icon I want to use. I'm gonna click use this image. And if you are using SVG images, you can change the color of these icons. So right here, I can change the color of this icon. As you can see, I can make to look similarly to this color right here, just like all other icons. So it's up to you what type of icons you want to use. And I'm gonna show you the place where I like to get my icons for free. So the place where I like to get my icons, just a second, I'm gonna paste this URL right here. And as you can see, this is the place where I like to get icons. You can find any icon you want to use and just select the icon. You can use search to look for those icons, and you can download SVG file and you can use this file right here. So this one is up to you what type of icons you want to use. This is where I found this icon right here. So it's up to you what icons you want to use. You can explore that website and just check the icons. Maybe you'll find the icons you would like to use instead of those. But right now, let's keep everything as it is. All right, so this is how it looks. And I feel like everything looks quite good. But before we leave, let's add some gaps in between some of the elements, because right now this product element is right above our footer and we want to have a gap. So how to add a gap, you might be wondering. So let's click right here, add element, and let's type gap. And this is the gap we want to use. We can select this gap and we can change the height of this gap. So I'm gonna type 50 pixels. And I feel like it's gonna look good. All right, so we can click apply, and this is how it looks. And we could actually add another gap right here, so we can duplicate this gap that we already created. All right, let's test with the 50 pixels. Let's see how it's gonna look. So it's gonna be just below our banner. Alright, so this is how it's gonna look, and I feel like it looks much better. I could also add another gap right here. So I can duplicate this gap just like I did previously. And right now I can take this gap, just a second, and I can put it right here. So this is how it looks. I feel like it looks better. Alright, before we leave, before we publish everything, let's make sure that everything looks great on other devices. So let's click to see how it's gonna look on tablet devices. Everything looks great. So we have our slider, it's properly functioning. And let's scroll up, let's see how it looks. Alright, so now our text doesn't look too good, so we can change that. We can expand this text just like that. We can move it a bit up. I feel like it looks better. So this time when I did those changes only applied to tablet device. Let's check how it's gonna look on mobile devices. Alright, it doesn't look good at all, so we can resize this one just like that. Alright, I feel like it's in the center. Now we can do some changes to this image. So we can barely see our text. So let's move this one just like that. Alright, I feel like it looks quite good. It's easy to understand and it looks much better. So if I'm gonna go back to desktop view, nothing changed. Alright. So this is a huge advantage of this Flatsome theme because it's highly customizable. So as you can see it yourself. Alright, so I feel like everything looks great. We have all the sections we need and now we can click apply. Alright, let's click publish. Alright, now we can close this one here. Alright, so this is our homepage. Let's click right here, view all pages. Now we can close this tab right here. And now we have our home that was created previously and we have our homepage. So we have to replace this home with our homepage. So to do that, you want to go to settings right here. Let's choose reading. And right here in homepage, let's select the page we just created. So this is our homepage. Let's click save changes. Now we can go back to all pages and you will see it yourself that now our homepage is set as a front page. So now we don't need this page. We can click trash. Alright, let's go and check how our website looks now. And as you can see, this is how it looks. I think it looks much better than the previous version. But actually we are not done because right now we don't have any images right here. So to add images to our categories, we have to go to the dashboard. Let's go to products tab. Let's choose categories. And right here in the wooden toys, I can click edit. And once I'm here, I can select thumbnail. So I'm gonna click right here, select thumbnail, and I have already uploaded some images. So those are the images I'm planning to use. So I'm just gonna select this image right here. I'm gonna click use image. I'm gonna click update. All right, let's go to categories. All right, so this image is now active. So I'm gonna do the same with all other categories. So I'm gonna add thumbnails. All right, as you can see, I just finished adding images, thumbnails to my categories, and this is how it looks. Of course, I get it that for costumes, I maybe used the wrong image, but it doesn't really matter much. We are working on this homepage just to show you how it looks, how it works. So in your case, of course, you're gonna use different images, but in my case, these were the images I decided to use. All right, so now we are done with adding thumbnails. Now we can click right here and we can check our homepage. Let's see how it looks. All right, so this is how it looks. We have categories. Those categories look this way, and if you don't like how those categories look, because right now this category here doesn't look too good, I get it, so we can do some more changes. So if I would click right here, no, not here, right here, edit with UX Builder. Let's make sure that everything looks great. All right, so let's make sure that everything looks great. All right, so if we have some style issues, we're gonna fix that. All right, so let's select this element right here, product categories. And now if I would scroll down right here, just a second, in height, we can select one by one and it's gonna look perfect. All right, I feel like it looks great. Okay, we could also do some changes how it looks. So to style, to badge, we can select label. With label, it doesn't look too good. If we're gonna select push, I think it's gonna look much better. So we can keep it just like that. I feel like it's gonna look much better, and we can click apply. Let's click update. Now we can close UX Builder, and just like that we created our homepage. And compared to the previous version when we were working with Astra theme, I feel like this homepage looks much better. We have a functioning button and everything looks great. And later in other stages when we're gonna work on the customization options, we're gonna do changes to the colors here, but right now everything looks great. So that's all for this lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna create our contact us page. So if you watched my previous section where I showed you how to create contact page using Astra theme and Elementor, this time is gonna be similar, but if we would go to the page that we created previously, in just a second, we cannot find this page right here. Oh no, this is the page we created previously. As you can see, it looks quite messy. So instead of using this page, maybe you haven't followed the previous section and you decided to go with the premium theme. No worries about that. We're gonna create a completely new contact page. So to do this, let's go to the dashboard. Let's go to all pages. Let's select all pages. And before we move on, let's do some changes to the page we created previously. So let's click quick edit. And at the end of the title and slug, let's type 2. And we are doing this because we're gonna create a completely new page. And if we're gonna create our new page, contact, and we're gonna give the same title, it's not gonna have the same URL. It most likely gonna have contact-2. So to avoid that, let's rename the page we previously created. And now we can click add new. Alright, let's type contact and let's click edit with UX Builder. Alright, this time let's click add elements and let's add a row. So let's choose 2 columns and let's click apply. So in the first column right here, I want to include contact information like email address, phone number, and if you want, you can also include your address. And right here, I'm gonna include contact form. So if you didn't watch my previous section where I showed you how to create contact forms, no worries about that. I'm gonna show this right here as well, but I highly recommend you to check the previous lesson where I showed how to create contact page using Elementor, using Astra theme. Alright, so let's start working on this page. Alright, so the first things, let's click apply. And right here in this first column, I want to include a text element. So I'm gonna click right here, add to column, and I'm gonna choose text. Okay, I'm gonna click apply, and I'm gonna open this in text editor. And right here, I'm gonna type the heading for this text element. That's gonna be contact. And I'm gonna choose the second level of heading for this one. And I'm gonna click enter. And I'm gonna enter my email address, phone number, and it's up to you if you want to include address. Alright, so this is how it's gonna look. I'm gonna click OK, and I'm gonna go back, and here in the second column right here, I'm gonna click add to column, and once again I'm gonna choose text, I'm gonna choose paragraph, I'm gonna open this in text editor, and right here using this second level of heading, I'm gonna type send us a message. Alright, so as you can see, I chose the second level of heading just like that. Just a moment, I'm gonna choose the second level of heading one more time, and I'm gonna click OK. Alright, so now let's go back, and here I'm gonna click add to column one more time, and this time I'm gonna use HTML. Alright, and here I have to include HTML code of my form. So if you don't know how to create a form, I showed you in the previous section where I was showing you how to create contact forms. But if you didn't watch that lesson, I will show you how you can do that. Alright, so let's go to our website in a new tab. Alright, so right now I'm in the post section, so basically I'm in the dashboard of my website. And as you remember, we installed Fluent Forms plugin. I highly recommend you to watch my previous lesson from the previous section where I was showing how to create contact forms, because in that lesson I showed you how to install Fluent Forms plugin, and once you install this plugin, you will be able to create forms. So if I would click right here in all forms, as you can see, I have some forms ready. So in the previous lesson, I created this form. So if you don't know how to create form, just watch my previous lesson. But if you don't want to watch that lesson, I can show you how that's done. So for example, let's click add new form. Let's choose this one. I usually like to remove the last name, so we're not gonna use the last name. And right here, instead of using submit form, we can change that to send a message. So right here, I'm gonna type send message. We can change the style of a button right here. So let's say I'm gonna choose red. I feel like it's gonna fit perfectly with my design, and this is how it's gonna look. All right, so before we leave, let's click save form, and also we could change the title of this form so we would know what form we are using. So I'm gonna type the title for this form. I'm gonna call this contact form 2 because in the previous lesson, in the previous section, I already created the first form, so it's gonna be contact form 2. All right, let's click rename, and this is the ID of our form. So we want to copy this ID right here. And there's one very important setting adjustment that we have to do. We have to click right here. And as you can see, this is how the message of our form will look once our visitor submits a form. So we can go right here in email notifications, and let's make sure that we activated email notifications. Once a visitor leaves us a form, leaves us a message, we will be notified to our email inbox. But before we leave, we must do some very important adjustments. Let's click right here and send to. Here you have to type your business email address. So type the email address that you created previously, where I showed you how to create your business email address, because if you're not gonna do any changes here, you will not be notified to your email address. So make sure that you add your business email address right here. So I just entered my business email address. Now I can scroll down and I can click save notification. All right, so make sure that you copy this one right here. Now we can close this here, and let's paste this code right here. Okay, now we can click apply. And before we leave, I feel like we need to add a gap. So let's look for a gap element. Let's select this element, and let's use 50 pixels. Let's click apply, and now I'm gonna duplicate this one right here. Let's click apply, and now I'm gonna bring this one to the top, so I have the same gap at the top of my elements and at the bottom. So now we can click publish. All right, we can click update. Now we can close this UX builder. All right, let's go to all our pages. And as you remember, we renamed this page, so we can put it to trash bin. And now we can view our contact page. And this is how it looks. All right, so contacts right here, it seems quite minimalistic. So I just decided that I wanted to include my email address and phone number, but it's up to you if you want to include your address as well, maybe your working hours. I decided to go the simple way just to show you how everything works. I also like to include some information for my customers that I usually reply within 24 hours to messages, to emails. So just to fill up this column right here a bit more, but as you can see, this is how our contact page looks right now. And it's fully functioning contact page. It will work just great. Maybe we didn't need to add a gap right here, but we can fix that if we're gonna click right here, edit with UX Builder, and we can remove the gap that we previously added. All right, so let's delete this bottom gap because we already have a good gap in between the elements. We can click update. All right, we can close this one. All right, so as you can see, this is how it looks. And I feel like our contact page looks great. It does the job. Our customers, our visitors will be able to contact us, leave us a message, and what else you could ask. All right, so that's all for this lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna go through the creation process of the main menu, of the menus itself. So if you haven't watched my previous section where I showed you how to create menus, it's basically the same no matter what theme you are using, no matter if you're using any page builders or anything like that. Menus are part of the WordPress itself. So if I'm gonna go to my home page, As you can see, this is the menu we have, and no worries about that this menu doesn't fit our header. Later we're gonna do adjustments to this menu, but right now this is the menu we want to have. This is the exact menu we are planning to use for our website. So how I created this menu? So we should go to the dashboard right here, and if I would go to appearance section right here, I can choose menus. So here I created this menu, and as you can see here we have various different menus, so I can choose from the list. So I have main menu, I have menu of quick links, I have a secondary menu, site links, but in this course we are only focusing on the main menu because that's all we're gonna use in this course. So I'm gonna select this main menu and I'm gonna click select. And of course, if you will need to create a new menu, you can click right here and you will be able to create a new menu, and later this menu will be added to the list of all menus. And in later stages, when you're customizing your theme, when you are customizing your website, you can set this menu, newly created menu, let's say, to display in a certain place of your website. But right now our main focus is on this main menu. So as you can see, we have all the categories, and that's exactly what we want to have. And if you are wondering how I created this menu, so I simply used custom links. So right here, so I added the text, let's say costumes. So I added the text costumes, and I added the URL of the costumes category. So if you're not sure how to find those URLs, you can click right here, products. Let's open categories in a new tab, and let's go to categories. And let's say costumes. So this is the costumes category. I can click view in a new tab, and this is the URL of our costumes category. So we can simply copy this URL, and if I would go back to my menu right here, I can add link text costumes, and I will paste the URL. Once I click add to menu, this menu item will be added right here. So as you can see right here, we have costumes. I'm not adding this one because we already have this added to our main menu, and our main menu is fine. We don't need to do any changes. So just like that, you can create menus. Also, you can choose from the categories. If I would go right here, no, sorry, it doesn't work. So this one right here, menu items, looks a bit different from the previous version when we were working with Astra theme, and it's just because we are working with different theme. So different themes usually have different options, but in this case, when you are creating a menu, you're gonna need to use the same option, custom links, just like we used in the previous section when I was working with Astra theme. So right here, don't forget, paste the URL of your category, add the text, and click add to menu. And just like that, you will create your menu. And here, of course, you can set your menu to be displayed in various different locations, but you don't need to focus on that because in later lessons, we're gonna do changes to the locations of our menu that will be displayed on our website. So no worries about that. You don't need to focus right here at all. And yeah, once you're done with your menu, don't forget to save menu. And if we would go back to our website, so I'm just gonna go to this tab right here. I'm gonna click visit site. As you can see, this is the menu we're gonna have. So I'm gonna close this tab right here. And if you're wondering how to create a drop-down menu, I actually showed this how to do in the previous section, but I'm just gonna show this one more time. So for example, if you have parent category costumes, and you have child categories like Halloween costumes, Christmas costumes, something like that, and you want to make a drop down menu. So let's say this is gonna be your costumes, and this one is gonna be Halloween costumes. So just move it to the right side, just like that. Hit save menu, and let's go back to our homepage. Let's refresh this page, and as you can see now, costumes is a drop down menu. So it has bath toys, but in your case, it might be Halloween costumes, and maybe you're gonna have the second item, Christmas costumes or anything like that. So this is how you create a drop-down menu. All right, let's go back and let's make it as it was previously. So we have to select this item right here. Let's move it to the left. And just like that, we're gonna go back to the previous layout. Of course, you can swap places with menu elements just like that. So it's up to you. So once you do any changes, don't forget to hit save menu. And now we can go back to our homepage. Let's refresh this page. And as you can see, now costumes is not a drop-down menu. All right, we can close this tab. So just like that, you can create menus. And if you're not sure about the menus, you still want to learn a bit more about that, don't forget to watch my previous section where I showed you how to work with Aster theme, and you can check the lesson where I showed how to create menus. So no matter what theme you are using, no matter what page builder plugin or anything like that you are using, the creation process of your menu is gonna be the same. But at the later stages, when we are working on the customization options of our website, we can set our menu to be displayed in certain locations. So our goal is going to be to set this menu to display in our header. Right now it doesn't look too good, but we're going to do some customization options in later lessons. Alright, so that's all for this lesson. Now you should know how the menus work, and if you need some more information, don't forget to check my previous lesson in the previous section where I showed you how to create menus. Okay, in this lesson we're gonna start customizing our theme, and you're gonna see yourself how many customization options this theme has compared to our previous theme that we worked on. Alright, so let's click right here, customize. And as you can see here, we have all the customization options. We have a bit more options, but once we click, let's say on the header right here, as you can see, this is how many options we have. So right here we have our header builder. We can set different types of headers for desktop devices, for mobile and tablet devices. And right now we're not gonna work on our header because there's quite a lot of things to talk about it. In the later lesson we're gonna focus on the header a bit more, and we're gonna work on that in the later lesson. Alright, so let's go back and let's go to style. So once again, in style you obviously gonna do changes to the style, so to the fonts, to colors, and so on. So if I would click right here, typography, as you can see, I can choose my font families for different types of text. So right now, as you can see, for headlines, so this is the headline, this is the headline. It's set to be this font, and this is the variant. It's up to you what type of font you want to use. I usually don't overcomplicate myself with font families, and it's up to you. It's of course the matter of taste, but lots of websites I know use Roboto font. They also use some other popular font families, and you can Google if you want. You can check other popular font families that most of the websites use. But as you can see, this font looks quite good, and if you would choose from the list, as you can see, we have various different fonts available, and it's up to you if you want to explore this option right here. So like I always like to say, don't be afraid to explore everything yourself, because you're gonna learn how to use this theme or tool much better. And as you can see right here, we also have the different fonts for base text. So if I would click on my product right here, this is the base text. So this is the text will be used for product descriptions, reviews, and your blog posts, and so on. So this is where you can do changes to this type of text. Navigation. So if you're gonna choose different font for your navigation, it's gonna be applied right here. It's up to you, and just to let you know, it's not a problem to use two fonts on your website. You can absolutely use two fonts on your website. You can use different font for your headings or for your base text. You can even use a completely different font for navigation menu, but just keep in mind that those fonts, they gotta match together. Alright, so this is where you can do those changes. You can also change the text transforms right here. So as you can see right here, breadcrumbs right now are set to uppercase. If I would activate this one, as you can see, instead of being in uppercase, this section right here is displayed in normal letters. All right, let's go back to uppercase. And yeah, once again, it's up to you to decide what you want to use, how you want to make things look, because once again, it's a matter of taste. And if you would just follow my course completely blindly, you would probably end up with the same looking websites. So I think the uniqueness is very important, so you should explore everything yourself. All right, let's go back and in colors. All right, so as you can see right here, we have primary color, secondary color, and when we were working on our homepage, just a second, yeah, this is the homepage. And as you can see, this is how our homepage looks. And as you remember, when we were working on this first section, on this banner, and when we added a button, we had an option to choose what color we wanted to use. So we went with the secondary color, and as you can see, the same color is used right here and right here, since it's the secondary color. The primary color is right here. So I'm just gonna change those colors here. I'm gonna add link colors, hover link colors, and all that. And once again, this one is up to you because you're working on the style, on the colors. And just keep in mind, the best case is to make them match and to make colors matching. As you remember, I showed you in the previous lesson a while back ago where I talked about how to use Coolor's tool to generate matching colors. So right now I'm just gonna replace all those colors with matching colors. Alright, as you can see, I just finished replacing all the colors and this is how it looks, and now everything looks a bit better. I like the way everything looks, and since of course we have all the matching colors in place, and if I would scroll down, this is how everything looks. And once again, those all style adjustments are up to you, but just keep in mind you should use matching colors. And if I would scroll down, as you can see, I can do changes to the separate items, to the separate areas of my website, of my theme. So for example, I could choose a completely different color for the sale button. So instead of using the secondary color, as you can see right here, I could choose a color for the sale bubble. So it's gonna be not the secondary color, but it's gonna use this color if I would decide to set it right here. And as you remember, I told you before, you shouldn't use too many colors on your website because it's not gonna look professional. But if you will decide that you want to make sale bubble different or add to cart button different or something like that, don't be afraid. Using 4 colors or up to 5 colors is good, but just keep in mind that you should match all those colors. So you can explore those settings right here yourself. And now we can go back. And if I would choose global styles right here, we're not gonna change anything because everything is good as it is by default. So let's go back and custom CSS. So since I told you in the beginning of this course, we're not gonna work with any code and we're not gonna do that. But if you would need any extra customization options to go even more in depth, to dive even more in depth, to change colors for a separate small elements, this is where you can do that. But to do that, you should know how to code. So you should know CSS coding language. Of course, it's for advanced users. All right, let's go back. And image lightbox, we're not gonna change anything because everything is good as it is by default. All right, let's go back. And in blog, we're not gonna change anything because we haven't started talking about blogs, and for this I have a completely separate section. So if we wanted to do those changes right here, we should have blog first, and we don't have that yet. But right here, you're just gonna be able to do changes to your blog posts, to the categories, and once again, it's the matter of taste. Once you're gonna have your blog posts ready, this is where you will be able to do various adjustments, how your blog posts will be displayed, how the featured images will look, what meta data you want to display, and so on. So this one will be for you to explore, to decide how the thing's gonna look. But usually the way it is by default, it just works well, and you will see it yourself once we publish our first blog post. And yeah, it's gonna be for you to decide how you want to work on the customization options of the blog aspect. But I think the default version usually looks good, and no matter what theme you are using. So if you are using an Astro theme or this one, and if you're not gonna like the way things look, this is where you will be able to do changes to the blog pages, to the blog posts, and to everything that is associated to blog. All right, let's go back. In the WooCommerce tab right here, this is where you can do changes to the WooCommerce part of your website. So in store notice, if you watch my previous section, this is where I added my store notice. So if I would enable this store notice right here, and I would click this one here, as you can see, we have a store notice that you can dismiss, but I usually don't use that store notice. Let's say for this type of message, free shipping for orders over $50. When I'm working with Flatsome theme, maybe it's good option. It's good choice when you're working with Astro theme where you have lack of customization options. But with Flatsome theme, I usually like to display such information right here. So you can easily do that. So we can disable this one completely. All right, let's go back. Product catalog. So this is where you can do changes to the product catalog. I usually like the way everything looks. I do not change anything, but this is for you to explore the customization options. As you can see, this is our product page. So no matter if you're gonna be in the costumes category or wooden toys category or anywhere else, it's gonna look the same, just like this one, shop. So this is where you do all the changes related to catalog. If I would scroll down, this is where you can change the layout of your catalog. I usually like to keep this one. You can change the list style, and do various other adjustments. As you can see, there's plenty of various adjustments, and once again, it's the matter of taste. And when we're gonna visit the widget section, this is where we're gonna add some widgets, so let's not focus on that right now. All right, so just do not be afraid to explore everything yourself. All right, let's go back from the product catalog, product page. All right, so this is the product page. If I would click on this product, we will be working on this product page. So you can change the layout, you can change how the thing's gonna look, how the header gonna look, and so on. So this one is once again for you to explore. I usually like to keep everything the way it is. I feel like it looks the best. You can also change how the additional images will be displayed. So for example, yeah, this is how it's gonna look, but I usually like to go with this version. And as you can see right here, we have various other adjustments. And if I would choose, for example, sticky add to cart, if I would scroll down, as you can see, we have add to cart option. So once again, it's up to you to decide what works for you the best. Looking from the conversion rate perspective, I haven't noticed any huge differences if I would have this one activated or not. So it's up to you to decide how you want to make your website look, because after all, we are creating unique websites. All right, so I'm just going to disable this one. And as you can see right here, we have even more adjustments. But once again, I do not overcomplicate myself with those changes here, because usually everything is good as it is by default. All right, let's go back and my account. So if I would click on my account, I would have to click right here, my account. As you can see, this is my account page. So here you can change the title alignment. As you can see, this is how it would look. I feel like this way it will look better. Yeah, maybe it's gonna look a bit better. And you can change the text color. Once again, those changes are up to you. We don't have too many adjustments right here, but it's okay. I usually like to keep everything simple. All right, let's go back. Payment icons. So this one is up to you. If you will decide that you want to display payment icons such as Visa, PayPal, Stripe, MasterCard, cash on delivery, and if you would scroll down, you will find even more various other different types of payments. And I usually do like to display those, especially if I'm working with the global audience. So my global audience would see that I accept Visa, PayPal, Stripe, MasterCard. Usually if you accept payments by cards, it's a good idea to include Stripe, because Stripe is a very well-known brand, so it's usually a good idea to include that. And for example, once I would select absolute footer, as you can see, it's already being displayed right here, but it shouldn't be displayed. All right, I want to display those payment icons right here, but I just wanted to show you if I'm gonna disable it, it disappears. So I should activate that one. And in later lesson, when I'm gonna be working on the footer, we're gonna do some adjustments right here. But for now, let's keep those four active, and we can go back. I also forgot to mention you can also activate this one in cart sidebar, but I usually don't do that. But just to show you how it's gonna look, let's activate this one. Let's go to our cart page, and this is where it's gonna be displayed. So this is how it would look. All right, so we can disable it. So it's up to you if you want to keep active or you want to disable it. I'm just gonna disable it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go to the home page, and just a second, what else we have? So we had payment icons, product images. We're not gonna change anything because I feel like everything is good as it is by default. But for example, if I would choose this one by one, as you can see, this is how it would look. Maybe it will look better, so it's up to you. I feel like it's gonna look a bit better. I feel like it looks better, so it's up to you if you want to keep this one or you want to use custom, and you can change those settings right here. Okay, let's go back. Checkout page. All right, this one is very important. Since we were doing some changes in the previous section when I was showing you how to work with Astro theme, how to customize it, some of the changes were saved. So what I did in that section, if you remember, I decided to hide company name field because I'm doing business to customer. I'm not doing business to business. I like to keep things simple. And I decided to hide the second line for address. It's not necessary because sometimes for customers it might look a bit confusing. Let's keep things simple because simple things work the best. All right, phone field. Phone field I usually like to require because it's important field and this information is important. And right here you can do various other adjustments, but I usually don't change anything. Maybe in some cases I move email to the first position, just like that. So you can activate this one as well. Some of my websites, they have email address in the first position, and once again, I haven't noticed any huge difference in conversion rate. And if you like the way this checkout page looks, you can keep it just like that. But if you would choose the simple layout, as you can see, this is how it would look. And I feel like it's gonna look much better. And if you would choose focused one, it maybe doesn't look that good. So let's go with a simple one. All right, now we can go back, and if I would go to cart adjustments, all right, this is where I'm gonna be doing changes to the cart itself. So I have to go to my cart, and once again, here you can change the layout. So if I'm gonna choose the simple one, this is how it's gonna look, but I can go with a focused one. I feel like the focused one is gonna look much better. All right, it looks a bit better. I do understand it looks almost identical. And just a second, you can also activate boxed shipping labels. As you can see, this is how it would look. So once again, those are up to you. And right here, if you would do any changes with those options, you won't be seeing any changes, because in the last lesson of this section I will show you how to fix this cart page, the checkout page. There are some things we have to do, but no worries, everything functions the way it is right now. But in the last lesson, the final touches, we're just gonna take care of the final things, so everything would look perfect. All right, so I think everything looks good. Now we can go back. And basically we are done with WooCommerce tab, with WooCommerce customization options. Let's go back. Layout adjustments. We're not gonna change anything because everything is good as it is by default. Maybe you are creating some type of website in a specific niche where your website has to be extra sweet or something like that. Maybe you would want to include a background image that you can barely see. Maybe this would work. So once again, it's up to you. And don't forget to check every time the changes on each device, on tablet, on mobile. And once again, let's go back to the desktop view. And okay, so here we're not gonna change anything because everything is good as it is by default. All right, let's go back. In the footer, we're not gonna do any changes because there's gonna be a completely separate lesson for this. And basically in this section, you're gonna have two options how to set up your footer. So you're gonna have the same option as you had in the previous section by using widgets. But in the second option, we're gonna set up our footer in a bit easier way. And that's exactly on what I'm gonna focus. So let's not focus on the footer right now at all because we're gonna have a separate lesson for this. Pages, right here we're not gonna change anything because everything is good as it is by default. All right, let's go back. Portfolio, we can skip portfolio because we are creating an e-commerce store. We are not creating a portfolio type of website. And like I said, this Flatsome theme, this premium theme is extremely versatile. You can even create a portfolio websites using this theme. But since we are working on an e-commerce website, let's not focus on that at all. All right, let's go back. Menus. So right here we can change the locations of menus. And to be honest, here we're not gonna change much. Probably the only one thing that we're gonna change, we're gonna go to main menu, and basically we had kind of similar adjustments in Astro theme, but here we have more settings because we are working with premium theme. And the only thing that I'm gonna change, I'm just gonna disable footer menu. I don't need to display any menu in the footer. So if I would scroll down, as you can see, this menu that was displayed previously disappeared, and that's exactly what we wanted to happen. All right, let's go back. Let's go back one more time. Widgets. So here we don't have much adjustments. As you can see, we have adjustments for our footer. And if I would go back, this is the second footer. And here we're not gonna change anything because those widgets are right here for our footer. And maybe if you're gonna decide that you want to customize your footer using widgets, just like we did in the previous section, this is where you can work on those widgets. This is where you can add those widgets. But in this section, we're gonna create our footer in a different way. All right, so here let's not focus on that too much. All right, let's leave that just like that. Homepage settings, we're not gonna change anything because everything is good as it is by default. And as you can see, the only thing that we can change is we can set page for our blog post. All right, let's go back. Share. So in share, you can do changes to the share button. So for example, if I'm gonna select this product right here, as you can see, here we have share buttons. Maybe we don't need to use the email option because email is quite outdated, let's be honest. All right, and this way, I feel like it looks good. And if you don't like the style, you can change the style. As you can see, if you would choose this one, this is how it would look. And once again, all style adjustments are up to you. I usually like to keep things simple, just like that. All right, let's go back. Notifications. We are not gonna change anything right here. This tab is maybe for users who are looking to let their visitors know that there were any changes with cookie policy or something like that, but we don't need to focus right here because everything is good. Okay, let's go back. And additional CSS. Once again, this one is for advanced users who are looking to do some customization using CSS coding. All right, let's not focus on that. Okay. And right here, reset options, you can reset theme options, but we're not gonna use that at all. All right, let's go back. Let's check how our website is gonna look on tablet devices. All right, I feel like everything looks good. And of course, we're gonna work on our header. Of course, we're gonna change the footer, but for now, everything looks great. If I would click on this menu, this is how it's gonna look. And if I would click on the mobile device, it's gonna look the same. And yeah, basically everything looks great. And if everything looks great, if you are satisfied with the final result, we can click publish. We can close this one. And this is how it looks. So our homepage looks quite well. It's nothing compared to the previous section. And of course, it's because we are working with a premium theme. All right, so that's all for this lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna edit our header that's right here. Okay, so just like we did some changes to our header when we were working with Aster theme, it's gonna be the same, but except this time we're gonna have more customization options. All right, let's click customize and let's select header. And as you can see here, we have header builder. And just like with Aster theme, this header builder has 3 levels. So this is the top part of our header. You can see this right here in this electric color. We have the second part of our header. You can see it right here. And we have the third part that is inactive. Right here, you can switch between the different modes. As you can see, if I would switch to mobile tablet view, I have a different header builder because on mobile and tablet devices, our header looks different. So this is how it's gonna look. We have a bit different structure, a bit different layout, but it still works and it does the job. So when you are working on your header using this Flatsome theme, you have to keep in mind that you have to do changes to your desktop device and to your mobile and tablet devices. And as you can see right here in this header builder, we have various elements. We have HTML code. So basically this HTML code is text right here. This is the text. If I would move this HTML block or element and this area of not used elements, as you can see, it disappears. All right, if I would move it back, it shows up again. So as you can see, we have various different blocks, elements, and it's gonna be up to you to experiment what you're gonna like more. But once again, in this lesson, I'm gonna show you my blueprint, and I find that it just works. All right, so once we clicked on this block, as you can see, we are doing changes to this block, but this block has various different HTML codes. So this block is connected with other HTML blocks. So those settings right here, I mean. So as you can see, we have HTML block number 2, number 3, number 4, and here you can add various information, text, images if you want. And if it's too confusing for you, HTML is a very simple coding language, and I'm just gonna explain you real quick what this code right here means. As you can see, we have text. Add anything here or just remove it. So you can add any text you want, and right here it's just set to display this text in upper cases, and this is a bold text. So that's basically all it means. I usually don't use this one right here, except when I'm offering free shipping for orders, let's say $50. So I might replace this text and I'm gonna add free shipping for orders over $50. And as you can see, this is how it would look. And once again, it's up to you how you want to display this information. You can even move this block to the center. And of course, now it doesn't look too good because we have this menu. We can deactivate this menu just like that. And now it would look much better. If we would switch to mobile and tablet device, as you can see, we have this HTML block as well. And once again, it's up to you if you're offering such things as free shipping or you want to display any other information. It's completely up to you. I usually like to keep things simple, and in majority of cases I just disable this top bar right here, And when I'm offering, let's say, some special deal sales, I just add HTML text informing my visitors, customers, that there are such deals, such offers, such sales, or something like that. And I include this information here. If you're not doing that, you can disable this one by moving this HTML code just like that, or you can completely disable this top bar. So if you would click right here, top bar, you can select if you want to disable it. So for now, since I'm building the header according to my blueprint, I'm just gonna disable it. But now you know the ways how you can use this top header, and it's completely up to you. Alright, so now you are familiar that here we have our header builder. We have various blocks that we can move around in this header builder, and if we are not using those blocks, we can put them here. And if we want to do some changes to these blocks, we can click on those blocks and we can start doing changes to those blocks. And you can also switch in between different views. So now you know how that works. Alright, so let's go back to all header customization options. And as you can see with the presets, if I would go right here, you could choose the presets. So it's pre-made template for the header. You can explore that yourself, and it's completely up to you if you want to use that, but you can create your own header, and that's exactly what we're gonna do in this lesson. So you can explore those, you can activate them, you can deactivate them. Maybe you'll find the header you would like to use, and once again, it's the matter of taste. Okay, let's go back. In logo and site identity, of course, you can add your site title. Since I already added this site title and the tagline when I was doing changes to my WordPress settings, those are right here already in place, and yours should be here as well. And those are not displayed because I haven't activated this one. And the most important thing that we're gonna do here, we're gonna change the logo. So we're gonna click right here. This is the logo I want to use. I'm gonna click select, and I can change the logo size. So if I'm gonna move this one just like that, I'm gonna shrink it. Alright, I think it looks better. And now if I would scroll down, here you can see we have some other adjustments. You can play with those changes to see if it's gonna change anything. And of course, right here, you should add your site icon. So the site icon is displayed right here. So this is very important. Okay, let's go back. Top bar. So we already disabled the top bar that was displayed right here, and it's up to you if you want to display. Maybe you'll want to display this top bar when you are offering some special deals, special sales, or something like that, and it's completely up to you. And if you're gonna do that, you can activate it. You can add various blocks to this top bar, just like we did previously when we added HTML1, this one here, as you can see. Just like that, you can add those right here. All right, let's go back. Let's select top bar one more time. You can adjust the height, you can change the background color, and do all other adjustments. So those gonna be up to you if you will want to use this top bar, but I'm just gonna disable it. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to header main. So if we would click right here, we will be doing changes to this part of our header. So this is where we're gonna do changes. You can change the height, as you can see. You can adjust that. You can change the width, just like that. I usually like to keep this way. And you can change the colors. You can do all other adjustments. You can change the size of navigator menu and so on. So this one is gonna be up to you to explore, because of course you want to create a unique looking website. Okay, we can go back. And to be honest, since we were there and we were working on this part, we could do some changes to this section right here. So I usually like to display search right here, and I like to put my main menu in the third part of my header, just like that. And I do not use search icon. Instead of search icon, I like to use search form. So just a second, this is the search form. And if I would add right here, this is how it's gonna look. And as you can see, our website is starting to look better. And I usually like to go with this option right here, this one. And I usually like to choose flat. And I usually like to expand the width of this search bar. Okay, I feel like it looks good. Now we can go back, and now we have header bottom. So we already did some changes. We moved our main menu in the header bottom. So this is our header bottom. We could click right here to do changes to header bottom, but we can click here as well. So if I would click right here, I could change the height of our header bottom. I could make it a bit larger. I could also change the color to white. I think it's gonna look much better. And I could change the navigation menu size. If I'm gonna choose extra large, this is how it's gonna look. But if I would choose large, this is what we get. Maybe it doesn't look too good. Maybe we could go with medium size, and we could expand the spacing in between those menu elements. All right, I think it looks better. Okay, the color didn't change, so we should change that one more time. And those changes are not appearing. No worries about that. Once we click publish, those changes will be in place, so no worries about that. You can also explore some other options. This one is completely up to you. All right, let's go back. Okay, header mobile menu overlay. So here you will be doing changes to mobile or tablet device. So you should change your view to mobile and tablet. And as you can see, this is how it looks. So here you can do various adjustments. So this is our menu. And as you can see right here, now we have newsletter. To make this newsletter work, we would have to create a block, and we would have to add to this block our contact form. And it's just too complicated for our visitors. And I usually don't include this type of newsletter in my menu. I usually like to include a simple newsletter form in the footer, and it works very well. Sometimes I include pop-ups, but I do not like to include newsletter in the main menu because it just doesn't work. Okay, so to disable this newsletter, because like I said, I do not recommend you to include that as well, you can scroll down, and here we have various menu elements. All right, at the top we have search. So this is search. We have main menu, we have account. So this is my account part, and we have newsletter. So we can disable newsletter part, and we can keep social icons. Later, I'm gonna show you how to add your profiles, your pages to those social media icons. Okay, so now we are kind of done with this part where we were doing changes to mobile and tablet menus. So this is how it's gonna look. I think it's gonna look good, and you can explore some other adjustments as well. So now we can go back to desktop view. We can close this one, and we can go back, and right here, sticky header. So sticky header means that you're gonna have sticky header once you scroll down. So for example, if I'm gonna scroll down, as you can see, our header is sticky. Okay, so this is how it looks, and it just sticks. Okay, if I'm gonna activate, and just a second, I'm gonna deactivate the top. Yeah, just a second, because sometimes it just freezes and it's not supposed to act this way. Okay, so now everything is normal, and I deactivated this top bar, and now it looks perfectly. And no worries about that. If you published everything and you went to check your website, those changes would be saved and you wouldn't have any issues, but I just wanted to show you how it's gonna look. So as you can see, this is how our sticker header looks, and I usually like to keep the sticky header just like that. It's very convenient for our customers, for our visitors. All right, so this is what the sticky header is. If you would go to drop-down style, as you can see right here, you could do changes to the drop-down menu. So for example, if you would have, let's say, parent category costumes, and in this parent category, you would have child categories, Halloween costumes, Christmas costumes, or any other type of costumes. Once you hover over costumes and there's a drop-down menu, this is where you can do changes to this drop down menu. So this one is up to you to explore. Okay, let's go back. Buttons. Okay, so buttons, here you can add buttons. So for example, we have button number 1. So let's say maybe you're gonna create a button. I don't know where this button will take your visitors. It's gonna be up to you. I usually don't use that because the simple header works just well. But if in the future you will decide that you want to include some buttons, let's say live consultation, something like that, this is where you can add text. All right, live consultations, something like that. This is where you will include link where your users can register for live consultations. And now you will have an active button 1. And also you can do some other style adjustments for this button 1. And if you would scroll down, you can create another button. And once you do that, this is where you will find those buttons. So right now, those buttons are not used. So these are the buttons, button 1, button 2. So as you can see, button 1, button too. So for example, I'm gonna include link hashtag. I'm doing just to show you how it works. And let's say now I want to include this button to the right side of my main header. And as you can see, we have a button. You can also drag this button right here. And once again, it's up to you how you want to use those buttons. Okay, I'm gonna put it back to not in use section. All right, let's go back. Now you should understand how buttons work. Account. So once again, this is our account. Our users can log into their accounts, they can check their orders, addresses, and so on. And this is where you can do various changes to the style of this part right here. You can add an icon. Okay, this is how it's gonna look. But I usually like to keep things simple. You can activate username as label. As you can see, this is how it would look. And yeah, those are just the settings for you to explore. But I usually like to keep the way things are. I think it looks great. Let's go back. Card. You can do changes to the card style. So at the moment, this is how it looks. I usually like to keep it this way. I feel like it looks the best. But once again, it's up to you to explore. You can activate this option. You can choose card icon. You can do whatever you want. You can also import your custom icons. So SVG file. So just like I showed you in the other lesson where you can download icons, this is where you can upload your icon if you want. And this is where you can do those changes related to your card style. Okay, let's go back. Search. So for search, we already did some changes. We selected the style. So this is how it looks right now. And I feel like it looks great. All right, let's go back. HTML. We're not gonna do anything because I already told you that this is where you can add various information to HTML blocks. So we have first HTML block. As you remember, we added free shipping for orders over $50. So this is our HTML block. Just a second. This is the first block. And let's say I'm gonna add this one right here. And this is how it looks. It doesn't look good. I totally understand because it's supposed to be right here at a top bar. But since we have disabled the top bar, it's not displaying. So we can put it back to not in use section. Okay, let's go back. Contact. So right here you can add your phone, your email. Maybe later you will decide that you want to use those contact blocks anywhere you want. So once you add this information right here, we have this contact block. And once again, you can display it anywhere you want. Okay, this is the contact information. You can display it at your top bar or anywhere else. Let's put it back. Okay, let's go back. Newsletter. So once again, like I said, I usually don't like to use newsletter. It's not the best way to show the newsletter form for your visitors. I usually like to include newsletter in the footer, and I'm gonna show you how that's done. And of course, for marketing purposes, you can also create pop-ups, and yeah, that's how it works. But I usually don't like to use that in my header. It just overcomplicates things. All right, let's go back. Vertical menu. So vertical menu is for your mobile or tablet devices, and usually everything is good as it is by default and we don't need to change anything. Okay, let's go back. Follow icons. So this is where you want to include your social media profiles, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe your email address if you want to, and all other information. And once you include those, you can display those social media icons anywhere you want. The block responsible for those icons is this one. So as you remember, it used to be displayed at the top in the top bar. So let's activate the top bar one more time. Now we have our social media icons and we have newsletter. If I would drag this newsletter to the not in use section, as you can see, it disappears. And if I would click on social icons, we go to the same tab as previously. And here you can add your Facebook, Instagram profiles. You can change the style. As you can see, this is how it would look. So this one is completely up to you. All right, let's go back to the settings of top bar. Let's disable the top bar. Okay, let's go back. And pretty much that's it. So as you saw it yourself, this Flatsome theme has way more customization options compared to the Astra theme. And you have a lot of different ways to create your header. But I usually like to keep it simple because it works the best. And it's also completely up to you what type of header you want to have. But if you want to have the same header, just follow my steps and you'll have the same header. Once you're done with changes, don't forget to click publish. And now we can close the sidebar. And as you can see, this is how our header looks. It's a fully functioning header, and as you can see, it's a sticky header as well, and it works just well. It looks much better, and of course it looks much better than we had our header with Astro theme. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna customize our footer. So the footer is right here. And like I mentioned you before, with this premium theme, with this Flatsome theme, you actually have two options to customize your footer. So the first option is right here. If you would click customize, it is going to be similar to the option when we were customizing our footer using Astro theme, except this time we ain't gonna have footer builder. So if you would click right here, footer, as you can see, we have first level of our footer. So this is right here. If I would disable it, as you can see, it disappears. And of course, you can choose how many columns you want to have. And if you're gonna scroll down, you're gonna have the second level of your footer. So this is the second level. And as you can see, it also has 4 columns. It has the background color, and we have absolute footer. That is right here. And with absolute footer, we will not be able to disable this right here because it is absolute footer and it's just going to be displayed. You can delete the text, you can disable those icons, but no worries about that. We're gonna use this absolute footer, but we're not gonna customize our footer using those options. And as you can see, those all footer levels, the first one, the second one, were created using widgets. So if I'm gonna click right here, as you can see, we have various blocks, various widgets, similarly to Astro theme when we were customizing our footer using widgets. So it's basically the same. Since we are using this premium theme, we have an option to create our footer in an easier way. So why overcomplicate ourselves with a more difficult way when we can do this in an easier way? Alright, so let's close this customization sidebar. Let's click OK. Let's go to our dashboard. And to create our footer, we're gonna use UX blocks. UX blocks are similar to widgets. You can create blocks and you can display them in various places. In this case, we're gonna create a block and we're gonna display it in our footer as our footer. And when you are creating blocks using this UX blocks option, you will be creating those blocks using UX builder. So the same builder that we use to create our homepage and all other pages. So let's click add new. Let's give a title, let's call it footer, and let's click publish. And now we can select UX builder right here. Alright, as you can see, we have the same interface when we were working with our pages. And now let's click add elements and let's choose Flatsome Studio. And as you can see right here from the list, we can choose all kinds of different pre-made layouts. So we want to choose footer. And as you can see right here, we have some pre-made footer layouts that you can use. And it's up to you which one you would like to use. You can even click preview to check how those footers look. As you can see, if you would choose this one, you could replace the information that is here with your information, and you can set this footer to be displayed as your footer. Alright, let's close this one. I usually like to use this one. So let's click import. And as you can see right here, we have our footer. This is how it's going to look. So the first things first, we could change the information that is right here. I usually like to include a short sentence about my business, about my e-commerce store. And at the top, I usually like to include my logo. So let's click right here. Let's click open text editor. I'm gonna delete this title right here. I'm gonna click here, add media, and I'm just gonna select my logo. Okay, I'm gonna click insert into page. Okay, let's resize it a little bit. Okay, I think it looks good. And here I'm just gonna paste my text, my short sentence about my online store. Alright, so I'm done and I'm gonna click OK. Right here, you can include your social media profiles. So if you have your Facebook page, this is where you can add your URL, your Instagram URL, Twitter, or any other. So this one is up to you. If you have those profiles, just paste them right here and they will be displayed here. If you don't like the way those icons look, you can do some style adjustments, but I usually like to keep them just like that. I feel like it looks good. Since I'm not going to add my profiles, I'm just gonna click apply and I'm gonna move on to the next column. Alright, so right here, I usually like to include information for customers. So at the top, I'm just gonna type for customers. And here I'm gonna include 5 pages for my customers, such pages as shipping and delivery information, returns and refunds, my account, my orders, and so on. So since I know that I'm going to have 5 pages, I can copy one of those pages right here, and I can go to the next line and I will paste this page. Alright, as you can see, I accidentally copied too many pages, so I can delete some of them. I only need 5. Alright, so right here I have 5 pages, and before I add anything, I have to disable the links that were added previously. So I'm just gonna remove links one by one, just like that. And here I'm just gonna replace the text with my pages. Alright, so now I have to add links to these pages. So to add my account link, simply let's go to our website right here. Alright, just a second, it opened our post page. So let's click visit site and let's go to my account. And this is our account page. So we want to copy this URL right here. Let's go back and here just select my account, select this one, paste this URL and click this one, apply. Just like that, you will make this page active. And the same goes with orders. So let's select orders and I'm gonna copy this URL right here and I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna select this one and once again just paste your URL, click enter, and your page is active. Okay, so now we have to add contact page. So to find our contact page, we should go to our dashboard. Let's select all pages and simply just open contact page in a new tab, just like that. And this is your URL. So you want to copy this one. Now we can close it. Let's go back and let's paste this one right here. Just select this one before. Let's paste it just like that. Let's click apply and I'm gonna do the same with the rest of pages. Alright, so I finished adding my pages. Now I can click OK and we can go back and we are basically done with this column right here. Now let's go to the second column. So in this column I'm gonna include 4 pages and those pages gonna be privacy policy, about us, cookie policy, and all other pages. So basically I'm just gonna do the same as I did with this column right here. I'm gonna list all my pages and I'm gonna add URLs to these pages. So as you can see, privacy policy, I'm just gonna open this one in a new tab. I'm gonna copy this URL and I'm gonna paste this URL to my page. Alright, I just finished adding all the pages and now I can click OK and let's go back. And right here in this column, I'm gonna include some information to encourage our visitors to join my newsletter club. I usually like to call this one not just a simple and ordinary newsletter, but I usually like to call it as a club, as a special club where our visitors, where our subscribers can get special deals and offers. So I'm just gonna select this one right here. I'm gonna click open text editor and I'm just gonna replace this information here. Alright, so I just added my information and now we have to add a contact form. So the form where our visitors, where our customers can subscribe to our newsletter. So if you haven't watched my previous lesson where I showed you how to do that with Astro Theme, we're gonna do this one more time. So let's go to our website and to create a newsletter form, we're gonna use the same plugin as we used to create contact form. Alright, let's go to Fluent Forms and let's click new form. But if you have already created a form from the previous section where I showed you how to do that with Astro Theme, you can easily use that form that we created previously. But if you haven't done this yet, you should create a new form. So this is the form we could use. Alright, let's select this form and right here we can do some changes. So let's change the button background. So I'm just gonna use the same color right here as I used for my logo. Alright, so I replaced the color. Now we should do the same with hover color. So right here I'm just gonna paste the color that I used for this button. I'm gonna paste it right here and I'm gonna do the same with this color right here. So I'm just gonna paste it right here and this is how it's gonna look. Alright, I feel like it looks good. And now we can do some changes right here. I usually don't like to keep this star right here that this field is required. It's kind of obvious for our visitors. If they want to subscribe to our newsletter, they have to enter their email address. So we can select no, it's not required. It's just gonna look a bit better. And all right, just a second. Let's go back to input field. And all right, so this is how it's gonna look. We can give a title to this form, subscription form footer. Let's click rename. All right, we can close this one. We can copy this form right here. Let's go back and let's replace this form that was added by default with our form. All right, so this is how it's gonna look. Now we can click OK and we can go back, and we are kind of done with our footer. But before we leave, let's disable this area right here. Let's delete it because we don't need it since we are using absolute footer. All right, so we can click right here and let's select delete. All right, I feel like it looks good. So now we can click update. We can close this UX builder, and now we should go to our site. And as you remember, let's click customize to work on our footer. Let's scroll until we see our footer. So this is the current version. Now let's select footer and let's choose custom footer block. So right here, let's choose the footer that we created using UX builder. All right, let's scroll down, and as you can see, this is how it's gonna look. Of course, this color will be different. Right now, just showing up just like that, but no worries about that. We're gonna have our color that we set previously. All right, so before we leave, we should do some changes to our absolute footer right here. So let's select this absolute footer and let's work on the background color. We can change the text style right here, and we can select background color. Let's choose a light gray color, just like this one, and let's put it in the center, and I feel like it looks quite good. And now we can replace the text right here. So instead of using Flatsome theme, let's add the title of our website. Alright, and this is how it looks, and I think it looks great. It definitely looks better than the previous footer we created using Aster theme. Now we can click publish, and we can close the sidebar of customization options, and let's see how our footer looks now. Alright, let's refresh this page. For some reason it didn't save the settings of subscribe, so we should make sure that we save those settings. So let's go back to our footer builder and let's click save form one more time. Let's make sure that we save those settings, and let's purge all cache just in case it didn't save. And now we can refresh this page, and as you can see, those changes were applied. So our customers can join our newsletter club. And for example, if I'm gonna type my email address right here, let's click subscribe. Alright, so it says thank you for your message. We will get in touch with you shortly. So that's not the message we want to show to our subscribers. So let's go back to our editor. And as you remember, this is where we created our form. So this is the same form. And now we should go to the settings and integrations, and we should replace the text right here. So instead of showing this message, let's show them thank you for joining our club. All right, let's click save settings. And now every time someone subscribes to our newsletter, they're gonna see this message. And once someone subscribes to your form, to your newsletter form, you should go right here to check all the email addresses that subscribe to your form. All right, not here, sorry. It's for creating new form. You should go to all forms instead. And as you remember, this was the form we created. It says subscription form footer. And here you will see all the entries. So here you will find all the email addresses. So if I'm gonna click right here, this is the same email address I used to subscribe to this form. So once you're gonna collect more email addresses, you can select them all and you can click right here, export, and you can export them in Excel file, and later you can use those all email addresses for email marketing. All right, now we can close this one, and basically that's it. So if I'm gonna refresh this page one more time, this message will be gone, and basically this is it. This is how our footer looks now, and as you can see, it looks much better than the footer we had when we were working with Aster theme. So this is it for this lesson. Alright, so we are almost done with creating our website using a premium theme, and as you can see, it looks much better than the previous version. And of course, all the customization options are up to you. As you saw it yourself, this theme is much more customizable compared to a free option that you saw earlier. Alright, so in the final touches in this lesson, we're gonna cover some of the things that we skipped. So right here, if I'm gonna click on, let's say, costumes category or any category, as you can see, we don't have a sidebar right here. So to add a sidebar to this area here, we have to go to our dashboard, and we have to go to Appearance tab, and we have to select Widgets. And this is the sidebar, Shop sidebar. So in this Shop sidebar, I usually like to include my categories and the recently viewed products, so our customers could see the recently viewed products. So for example, if I'm gonna choose this one, not the recent post, just a second. We have to scroll down. Yeah, first of all, let's start with product categories. So let's choose this one and let's click Add to Shop sidebar, Add Widget. All right. So right here we have product categories. All right, so now we should scroll down and we should look for recently viewed products. Let's scroll down. And yeah, this is the widget we want to use. So let's select this one. Let's click Add Widget, and this widget was added successfully. So we just finished adding all the widgets we needed, and now we can go back to our site and we're gonna select, let's say, costumes category. And as you can see, this is how it's going to be displayed. So if I'm gonna check this product right here, and I'm gonna go to educational toys, as you can see, we have recently viewed products, so it's displaying right here. So everything works. All right, so the next thing that we have to work on is going to be in WooCommerce settings, and I actually did this when I was showing you how to work with Astra theme in the last touches of this section. So let's make sure that we have those settings active. So let's go to WooCommerce, let's select settings, let's go to accounts and privacy. And let's make sure that you have activated allow customers to log in into an existing account during the checkout, allow customers to place orders without an account, allow customers to create an account during the checkout, and all those settings right here. So you want to allow your customers to create accounts. It's just a good practice. So make sure that you have those activated right here. If you have those activated, now we can go to the last thing that we have to take care of. So let's go to the site. And let's scroll down, and as you can see, if I'm gonna click About Us page, I'm just gonna open this one in a new tab. This is how it looks. It doesn't look too good because it's just using WordPress text editor, and if you are fine with this option right here, you can keep it just like that. But remember, to create your About page, you can use UX Builder. So for example, I'm just gonna keep this page open here. I'm gonna go back to the dashboard. I'm gonna go to Pages, all pages, and if I want to create a new page, a separate page for About page, I can simply delete this page, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna create a completely new page. But I'm keeping this tab open because I want to have this information, since I'm going to copy this information later. Alright, so let's go back, and also it's quite important to mention that if you're gonna delete a page, you'll find those pages in trash bin. So no worries about it. If you deleted a page, it doesn't mean it disappeared. But if you want them gone, you have to go to your trash bin, select all pages, and select delete permanently. All right. Okay, let's go back to all pages, and we can click add new page. Let's type about, and let's select edit with UX Builder. And let's create a new About page. But once again, before we do that, this one is completely up to you. If you want to do that, you can follow this lesson through, or if you don't want to do that, you are fine with a simple looking About page. It's completely up to you. And if you want like the page I'm currently creating, you can create different type of page. So this one is once again up to you. All right, let's click add elements, and let's go to Flatsome Studio one more time. And as you can see, in About tab, we have various different styles for our About page. You can use one pre-created layout, you can use 2, 3, 4, or 5, as many as you need. But let's make it simple, and I believe I'm gonna choose this one. So I'm gonna select import. I'm not gonna import images because I already have some images ready. So let's click start. And right here, I'm just gonna add my text about us. So from here, I'm just gonna copy this text right here. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna open this in a text editor, and I'm just gonna paste this text just like that. I'm gonna click OK. And here there's a button. I'm not using any buttons. So if you see there's a button, you can simply click right here, delete. I can also delete this button as well because I'm not using it. So I'm just gonna click delete, and right here I can add something about our story. So once again, I'm gonna copy this one, I'm gonna go back, and I'm just gonna paste it right here. And I can actually go to the new line and type our story. and I can choose the level for the heading. So heading 2, I think it's gonna look fine, and we can click OK. Let's go back, and here we can add images. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna add my image right here. Alright, so I just added first image, and I'm gonna show you how I did this so you wouldn't get lost. Alright, so I clicked right here, plus icon, I selected image, and now I'm just gonna select the media, and let me choose the image. This is the image I want to use. No, I'm gonna use this one instead. I'm gonna click use image, and as you can see, this is how it looks. And I can change the size of this image. If I'm gonna move this one just like that, I can even move this image a bit up, and this is how it's gonna look. I feel like it looks good, and now I can click publish, and now I can close UX Builder, and let's go to all of our pages, and this is our newly created about page. So the reason why I deleted the previous page, I created a new one so we would have the same URL. So here's why I did this. So if I'm gonna go back to my website, I'm gonna go to my home page, and since our URL didn't change, we have the same URL. If I'm gonna click right here, about us, we have a new looking page. So that's why I did this. That's why I deleted the previously created about page, so we could create the same page with the same URL. So we are basically done with this part. And the last thing that we have to do, we have to go to our cart page. And as you remember, when we were customizing our cart page, we had an option to do some changes to numbers, to the steps of our cart page. And right now we cannot see those because we have to change the layout of this page. So to do this, we have to click right here, edit page. And here in template, let's choose WooCommerce cart. This is the template we want to use. Let's click update. Now we can click view page, and as you can see, we have a different looking page. It's a minimalistic page. It's totally focused on the cart page. That's the popular layout nowadays, and it just works. And if you don't like this layout, of course you can go to customization options, click right here, cart layout, and you can do changes. But as you can see right now, we have our shopping cart right here, we have checkout step, and we have order complete step. So this is how it looks. If you don't like this layout, like I said, you can go to customization options and you can do cart layout changes. As you remember, you had different views, simple, focused, and minimalistic, if I'm not mistaking anything. And if I would go to checkout page right here, as you can see, it's also missing the steps right here. So we have to go right here, edit page. And once again, let's choose the template. Let's select WooCommerce checkout. And let's click update. Now let's click view page, and this is how it looks. So it's also totally focused page. This is how it looks, and it's usually quite convenient for customers. So once again, if you don't like this layout, you can go right here, checkout layout, just like you can do with cart layout. As you can see in checkout layout, we can choose default, and this is how it would look. If we would choose focused, it would look this way, just like our cart page. So it's up to you if you want to choose the default one or the simple one. So let's go back to the simple one and let's click publish. Let's close the customization sidebar. We can close this page. We can go to our home page, and pretty much that's it. We are basically done with customizing our website using Flatsome theme. So that's all for this lesson.